So before I start this chapter 1 summary, I just have to say to some of you honks that aren't wanting to listen to your history, this is going to be very triggering to you. You're going to be pissed as fuck, and you're going to want to probably try to report me, okay? I didn't write the book. She did. She wrote the book. That's a white woman. You need to take it up with her. This is her shit, okay? So this is just history. This isn't me being mean, okay? This is what she's saying. And then I'm going to interpret it. Okay. So England in the 1600s wanted to reduce poverty and non-productive, lazy, dirty criminals that were running around rampant in the streets. Okay. And before this term came, I'm not going to put the other one. I don't want to trigger some people. They were known as rubbish, clay eaters. I've never heard of that one. Clay eaters, lubbers, and crackers. Okay. All white people. This is what they called white people in England, in Hockeyland. All right. So you know how we was talking about, they were coming in here to flee religious persecution. Well, actually, around the 1630s, after 1630s, less than half was coming here for that. The other was coming here for other shit we'll get into. Okay. So England wanted to weed out the poor dregs. Okay. That's their term, not mine. So a lot of people came here because they thought, the poor honkies, they thought that America was going to be absent from class. Like they wouldn't have the class system that they had over in Honkyland in England. But writers like Richard Hakluyt, he promoted American exploration with gaslighting. See, he had never been to America, but they needed you guys to believe America was this great place for you guys to be. He believed indigenous people were empty vessels ready to be filled with Christianity and that they were natural resources to be exploited. Okay. And because indigenous people weren't abusing the earth, it looked to these honkies as a wasteland and needed to be exploited. And they thought the same of the people. Okay. And how she described it is the poor and homeless were ready to eat each other up. So the waste, the people in England became assets. Okay. She does use slavery a couple times, but most of the time, referring to y'all, has been servants. Okay. So their idea was to put the convicts to work so they can repay England for their crimes of being poor, lazy, and unproductive. And then the next generation would be rewarded by not having vagrant and begging children. Most importantly, the poor at home would stop stealing because they would have jobs. So in the 1500s, they brought in harsh laws for the poor, criminal, lazy vagrants for generations. It lasted for a long time. They had whipping posts throughout London. For those honkies, hot branding irons. These lowlifes were branded with a V for vagrant. Vile, too, probably. They were known as the offals, I don't know how to pronounce that, of our people. Again, we have the word waste. Okay. They said unemployment was a dangerous disease. Okay. James the First, he wanted the vagrant boys removed from his sight. They didn't like looking at these people. And it reminds me of Honkland here, Portland. They don't like it either. They hate looking at their homeless people. And those homeless people, majority are white men. Okay. Now, here in Portland, state of white supremacy. I digress. So this is their media, and this is supposed to be America. This is supposed to actually be an indigenous person, according to the description, and the colonizer, and she's reaching her hand out to him, saying, welcome. And she's supposed to be fertile. So the land's fertile, and Englishmen were here to husbandry, some shit like that. So there was a flaw in the plan in Jamestown, and Hakluyt said it was difficult to find men that would work. They were predisposed to playing cards, trading with vile sailors, and raping indigenous women. The incompetence and laziness left the colony to fail. The waste people and their children were commodities, and The social norms in England, they said, were not existent here. They said that men were shitting in public spaces, people sat around and starved, and stealing vegetables was punishable by death. Side note, one man murdered and ate his own wife. Okay? So back then, class separation was by land. And if they had lots of servants, they got more land. So before 1616, they got 100 acres. After 1616, they got 50 acres. Because I think there was just more people coming. A honk invasion. Okay. And they were like, too many honkies are getting land here. We got to cut it out. Okay. Also, if an indentured servant died, his wife and kids had to pay those debts. A lot of men couldn't last and live long enough to acquire land, so they died before they even could pay their debts and get out of indentured servitude. But they didn't care. Yeah. White women, y'all were commodities too. See, you were shipped here with the cattle, okay? For 150 pounds of tobacco. They wanted your wombs. That's what they cared about, because your kids would be the laborers, okay? Ideal age for exploitation was ages 10 through 21 for all of y'all. Okay. Also, the Puritan family back then, it's not like the modern nuclear family of today, because the children had different parents. See. And when y'all try to rise above your station, they call it, your class, you were punished. You can thank Cotton Mather for that. All right. Women, y'all were hanged for challenging laws. Y'all got fucked up. Okay. And the breeding and fertility and shit that was going on with the servants and everything and the women, that was monitored by the town's fathers. And they haven't stopped, have they? Huh? So the discovery of America equated sex to land exploration. They did that. Men looked at land like a woman to marry for their wombs. One honky, Thomas Martin, he was critical of the Puritans, and they burnt his shit down and arrested his ass. He called them moles. The moles that don't do anything with the land but dig holes. Useless. He marveled at the ease that indigenous women became pregnant. I'm guessing the wombs of Satan were having some trouble. That's what I'm guessing. All right. John Lawson said European women became docile breeders when they were closer to nature. So America would be good for them. That's how they got the honky women to come over here. You heard of a copulative marriage? Yeah, we see them today. Y'all know this honky? That's what her marriage is. And it didn't matter what she looked like. As long as she was under the age of 50 and civil, she got bought. She had her choice, actually. It was, at one time, it was 6 men to 1 woman. Oh, Bacon's Rebellion of 1676. Berkeley, the dude he was fighting, he called y'all offscourings of society. Offscourings, human fecal waste. Bacon died of dysentery and a body full of lice. He hung out with the dregs of society. He was actually from an elite family. Yep. So a lot of women got passed around, like Frances Culpeper Stevens Berkeley Ludwell. She married 3 colonial governors, including, Bacon's enemy, but no kids. Wanna know why? Every time a husband died, she got that land. And the husband then she married, then got all that land, and then it kept going. Her next husband died, she got that land and the future land, and then she gave it to the next husband, and that husband got it, and then she inherited all that land. Who got played here? They thought she was a Jezebel. Okay. So the Romans actually started the conditions of the mother where the children of servants belonged to the masters. Romans started that. St. Thomas Aquinas connected the womb with the land. If a man sowed his seed on another man's island, the owner has the right to that produce. Okay. So a woman's breeding capacity was a natural and exploitable resource and commodity exchanged for marriage. She got land when he died and then passed around. Okay. They were encouraged to remarry. So, in conclusion, they didn't like you honkies over there, so they sent you over here. Y'all was fucking up shit, couldn't do shit over here, and women in land were for the sole benefit of men. Okay.